right. This is Joanna Favicon, and she is a children's librarian here at the Children's Literature Department.
Couldn't tell by the ears.
She's just done a story time. Joanna, tell me about your career.
I graduated 2005, and was fortunate to get a job pretty quickly after I graduated. They were hiring, and started off as a young adult librarian at a branch, and I was there for 2 years. And then there was an opening at Children's Literature in 2007, and I transferred over here because I was familiar with the department, having interned during school.
And how many story times, class visits, programs do you think you do per week?
Per week? Well, we rotate as a department, but depending on how many field trips come into the library and our regularly scheduled programs that we rotate in, when we're at our busiest, I can end up averaging probably a program a week, whether it's a class visit or a preschool story time or a family story time that we do on Saturdays.
Wow, so you serve pretty much all ages. It could be
Yes.
a program for little kids or
Yes.
big kids or anything in between.
Absolutely. That usually happens on the Saturday. We have a huge range, people bringing their newborns in to the 10-year-olds, so we always have to account for that. And even with preschool story times, I mean, we have it publicized as a story time for 3 to 5-year-olds, but even as the immediate downtown area has been changing, you can have seen from there, they've been skewing a lot younger in our preschool story times
there are
as well.
quite a few babies. I got some very cute shots of those babies.
Yes.
Tell me about just some of the problems that might happen in a story time, or sort of typical things and how you deal with them. For instance, a kid starting to cry, or what are some typical things that might happen?
Well, which I didn't do today. Usually with our family story times on Saturday, we always say, give the parameters of the story hour, say it's about between 45 minutes to an hour, and the puppet show that everyone waits for is always at the end. Preschool story times, it is a small enough space that if someone does start being crying or getting a little antsy, they know to just walk a little bit, walk it off in the rest of the department, and that's what we try to suggest on our Saturday story times. For preschool story times, they are only a half hour long to begin with, so if they do have problems, they can easily just come and go. Or with huge meltdowns, usually that's definitely the kids saying it's time to go home, and people are very good about listening to their kids.
Do you ever have to tell parents, could you please remove your child?
I haven't. I've been lucky enough to not be able to, and the parents have been really good about, my child is melting down, it's time to go.
Yes, so embarrassing.
Yeah. Because again, it is a small enough place where you can just get the parent next to you, or because sometimes it just snowballs. If there's one kid who's upset, it's sort of
exactly. It's catching.
Yes, it's a lot of modeling behavior, which is good, but it works on the opposite way too.
Right.
You see a kid who's older than you sitting quietly or participating, then that behavior also carries over to the younger ones, which I noticed that even in one of the later stories in this session, I actually had them, which was great.
Yeah, there's just a couple kids who do the finger plays along with you, and the other ones like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. It's very cool. So do you have any just quick advice for new children's librarians or future children's librarians in terms of story time?
Music is always great, and just the big advice is just really have fun. How can you not have fun singing the songs and seeing the kids react to it? That's just my big advice. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be messy.
See? It can be messy.
It can completely be messy.
And it's okay.
And it is okay. And sometimes it's even better when it's messy.
Thank you, Joanna.
You're welcome.